you're off. After that, you guys are you're in a different country.
Actually, so Benson Hedges loved the work we did so much. We became part of the family, to be honest. We actually did first. Kalamashaka went and did, no, they didn't do the gig. We were sent to Uganda. They were doing the same thing in Uganda with Akina Bebe Cool and Afrigo Band and all this. We were sent to join the team to see how the production happened, basically. And then after that, Kalamashaka got an opportunity to perform for Benson and Hedges Golden Tones in Lagos. If I am not wrong, they were the first Kenyan band ever to really perform in Nigeria. In Nigeria.
Oh yeah, Nigeria.
If I'm not wrong, if I remember right, there were about 80,000 people in that stadium. It was one of the biggest stadium in I've never seen so many people in my life.
In all in one place.
I don't even think there were that many people at Independence here at Uhuru Park. Yeah. No. And they all had yellow bandanas, so you just see. And what was interesting about, I mean, first they were treated like royalty. We entered, so funny, because before we went, you know, of course, they all had dreadlocks and everything. I told them, man, when you get to Lagos, please just wear hats, just hide your hair. And you know why? I'd been to Lagos years before with a friend of mine I used to school with in England, one of my best friends. I said, oh, let me fly to Lagos and see. And those days I used to have my dreadies, also small ones, those two.
Like this photo here.
Like that photo. And I was arrested at the airport because they said I was a drug trafficker and I was a Jamaican, and that hair apparently was like Medusa. It had evil demons and whatnot. And by the time I was actually freed, and 2-3 hours later, they were about to deport me back to the UK.
What?
Me, I just knew here, huku, ukienda na hiyo mnywele ni kubaya. So here I'm freaking those guys out. Like in Kalamashaka, they're like, ay. So looking for hats and everything. Get there, this is the power of corporate. From inside, there's even seeing banners with their pictures on it. Were treated like royalty. The guys, even the guys in immigration, Kalamashaka. They had been hyped so heavily before we got there.
In Nigeria.
They even knew the songs. They knew Tafsiri. They're like, Kalamashaka, thank you. And the people treating them, people dancing for us and everything. Do you know? And then I remember Kamal looked at me and said, hey. What cheated, limousines, what went in through with that police escort. I'm like, Z, no, these guys have lied. It was absolutely a fantastic experience. So the best part is, so there's a DJ who was meant to play some hype songs, you know, before they come on stage and as they come on, and some instrumentals and whatnot. And we had practiced with him and everything. The day of the gig, I think there was a dispute over money or something. He refused to come and play for us. So luckily I had the records. I'm the one who had the records.
And you're like, I'm a DJ.
So I ended up being the DJ.
For their set now.
For their set. Ted was on stage playing a mini disc, the instrumentals for the songs of mini disc. Those things they used to call mini disc. Where was Mike? Mike was on the desk.
Nice. You guys were a serious combination.
And I have to add this thing about Mike also. I remember when that team Red 14, and they were meant to be the hottest technical guys around the world. When they came to Kenya and they started talking with Mike, you know, now it's like maybe they thought we're not quite up to scratch, and you know, on the desk on whatnot.
Yes.
So they set up Nini, they're talking to Mike, and then they realized they schooled in the same school in the UK. They said, you're at SAE College.
Do it.
Take over. And they had a lot of respect, you know, but I mean, we learned from them, trust me. They had some things they definitely brought to the table, you know, but just about precision and whatnot. So it was a nice working, and they're the same guys who did Uganda and Nigeria. So it was nice just to meet them again. We became very close with them. And anyway, so so we're getting on stage. And remember that there was a lady called Weird MC. It was a big, back then was a big female rapper in Nigeria. She performed, she came off stage, and this hype, Kalamashaka. So I was on stage already waiting, kichi. So Kalamashaka come. Now were backstage, so they hadn't actually seen what was in front.
Oh.
So as usual, Johnny used to start used to come in front with the show, Johnny and Kama, and then Roba would sort of stay back. So they'd come in, sort of triangle, a bit like a Manu attack on Arsenal, which has never worked. But anyway, Anyway, so they'd come on stage and Johnny came, and I remember he stood and he was meant to have started the lyrics, I think, to Tafsiri or something.
Yeah.
Was it Tafsiri or no, there's like a hype song he's meant to have started with. And he came on and stepped on the monitor and was just like this.
Guy.
And his mouth, and there's a picture somewhere of him like this. Just staring at this sea of yellow humanity, because everyone had
Yellow bandanas, yes.
And Ted's looking at him like, dude. And I'm like, yo, you know, we're all just looking because we are five. We can't just slap him or anything. And everyone, they just froze, like he forgot everything. So Ted had to start, I started again, and then whew, he got it. Yeah. But let me tell you, they gave a show of their life. Probably one of their best shows ever. And you know, to see nearly 80,000 Nigerians singing your song, jumping up and down, was it was huge.
They were singing, like, you know, these are things you're never told.
Huge. And there are pictures available.
So Kenya was penetrating Nigeria even before Nigeria pop was penetrating Kenya.
This is the point I'm making. And after us, it was one of the most famous Nigerian musicians then, Lagbaja, was also performing on that same stage. Although sadly we never got to meet him. But what happened the day before is even more interesting. We're sitting, because we got a bit, eating Nigerian food at the time was a bit of a struggle, especially for Kalamashaka. They weren't used to that pepe. And egba with pepper soup. And suya meat. Basically they weren't used to pili-pili. Them, they wanted their domas, their kama kwanza. He was like, I miss irio, I miss ugali. So I remember one day we went looking for burgers, just normal burgers, things we can understand, chipo burgers in Lagos. So we went to this place, we were sitting, and this is the day before the gig, or 2 days before the gig, I beg your pardon. And we're talking, and someone hears, we're talking in Swa. So somebody hears us, comes across, he says, habari zenyu, hey, say mzuri. And what we're talking about at the time is very interesting. We're saying, I think I'm the one who raised it. I said, look, you know, I'm such a big fan of Fela Kuti, and of course we're in Nigeria, and I would love to just go meet his son Femi Kuti, because at the time I was already representing Hugh Masekela in East Africa,
which we're coming to.
Yeah. And he had talked a lot about when he was in exile, he lived with Fela Kuti. He told me the whole story and how Femi was like his son and so on and so forth. So I always wanted to meet this Femi Kuti musician, and his song Bang 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 had just come out. So I was like, man, if only there was a way to meet. And we're talking about it right there and then. And this guy comes and says, habari zenyu, hey, mzuri, we're looking, but this guy looks sort of half Nigerian, half European. So we're like, he says, umetoka Nairobi. And you. So we're still curious. So he says, okay, my name is Desmond Majek, and you know, I lived in the early days. I lived in Kenya, and actually, if I remember right, he was involved in starting what? Something or other. He had been involved quite a bit in the early cultural manenos in the 70s. And so we're talking, and you know, one thing leads to another, and he mentions Femi Kuti. I'm like, huh? He says, yeah, you know, tour manager. You know, I'm one of the tour managers for Femi. In fact, he's performing at the shrine, the famous shrine where his father is from tomorrow. Would you like to come?
Like, of course. It's water wet.
Would I like to come there? Are you insane? So I remember Kalamashaka needed to rest. I think they wanted just to, I think, they had interviews that day or something. So anyway, we organized this such that Ted, Mike, and myself went to watch Femi Kuti at the shrine, the original shrine before it got damaged and then rebuilt, but the original shrine where his father Fela Kuti used to perform. And we went there, and for 2 hours. So Femi Kuti at the time, I think, rehearsed 5 times a week. And when I say rehearsed, used to rehearse something like 5-6 hours a day. So we watched 2 hours of that rehearsal. And let me tell you,
that's insane.
Those guys don't play. So, and there's a picture, I think, of me and Femi Kuti. This picture.
Nice.
And you know, we're there chilling, you know, we got talking to him, and somehow him and I really hit it off for some reason. And he was very into Black Power, Africa, you know, we need to unite and everything, and it's this movement, I want to get young people involved in getting Africa ahead, and I really bought into it, and we kept in touch even after Nigeria. Until even when he came to play for rugby, so he came for Safari Sevens, you know, we're still in touch. There's even, I think, another picture of me and him. We had breakfast with him at the Grand Regency. He was, I think it's Insider Crew that brought him at the time. And his little son, who was then playing drum, he's playing the sax. He's playing sax and drums for him. We're still oddly enough, you know, in touch with them up to today. And his ex-wife, etc. Funke. But that meeting with Femi Kuti for me had a huge impact on me, and even my Africanization of my music, even from a DJing perspective, you know, it really enhanced my appreciation like tenfold. We had such deep conversations with him. And that's when I really got into Nigerian music, to be honest.
That's great.
Yeah, from a very early, there was some really early King Sunny Ade, the early groups in Nigeria. I got really into them. Anyway, fast forward, we come back from Nigeria.
Golden Tones, yeah.
We actually stayed there because there was a UN project we had started in Kenya, and they wanted us to do some series there. So we were handed over to the UN, to UNFPA, the Population Fund. And we're there for another week and a half shooting a series. They had started talking about the right to reproductive health information, blah, blah, blah. So it was a big thing called, what is it called? Oh gosh, I have it somewhere. But say yes, just say no, anyway, it's a big project we had started. In fact, it ended up being a continental project that won an award. And we actually got recognized in Newsweek magazine.
What?
Yes, for using music to help spread sex education. I remember the topic, it was on page 3 of Newsweek, and I have to find this, but page 3 of Newsweek, it's somewhere. And it said sex ed via song. And in Kenya, our project, and it's there, the cover. And we're like, yo, we hit the big time.
That's
again,
crazy.
Tumefika, we thought.
I have to rewind you a bit, because you've brought up that song. The place where I saw this song is on the Kisima Awards being performed by Hardstone, Kalamashaka, and I don't know if it's some ladies who I don't even know. So let's go back to Kisima Awards.
Was
because
Nikki there in 2? No.
I think it was the first Kisima Awards that you guys did.
In 2 might have been part of that performance.
Yeah. So let's talk about Kisima Awards, because again,
I need to know. That's what it was called. And Atemi was in it for sure. I need to know about and there was an American boy on it at some point. Yes, oh my. Okay, it's coming back.
Just need to jog that memory.
It's coming back.
So Kisima Awards.
Kisima Awards, my goodness. Kisima
How
Awards.
did it even come to be?